All right, guys, just bear with me for a second here. Just gonna do a little video today talking about the end of the season. We got the playoffs coming up pretty soon here, and we just completed the 31st game of the season. I just got done with the box scores today. I got up and I was doing other stuff, so it took me a while to get through them, but I just got through posting the results, and on screen you can see the game scores for this period. And I'll just go over those really quick here if you're just listening. San Diego beat Philadelphia 146 to 139. It was the Knicks over the Chuck and Heat Checks 124 116. Denver beat Alberta 136 to 92. Carolina over Fort Wayne 118 to 105. Boston beat Houston 95 to 88. And it was an upset victory for the Poway Eagles over the Warriors 128 to 118. So I'm just taking my time because we have transactions coming up in about 10 minutes. And there's some big things going down right now. Denver is apparently going to make some big moves. They just cleared up a bunch of cap space to make some sort of a big move. And I have a feeling it has to do with Jason Tatum. And it seems like the Nuggets, AJ Nardi and the Nuggets, are going to just throw aside their chances at winning a championship and just go for the future. Because Tatum's not going to play during our playoffs, which begin on the 20th of February. And if the Nuggets fall into that play-in tournament and they don't have somebody like a Domantas Sabonis or somebody like that, and they have an injured player that makes $55 million, chances of them moving out of that play-in tournament against teams like the Copperheads, the Saints, or the Poway Eagles is going to be pretty slim. So interesting moves here going down. I will, by the end of this video, update that. It's about 9 minutes off, and we'll check that out together. But in the meantime, I'm just going to kind of ramble on about the league. This week, the big news is the San Diego Saints got a huge win over the Sixers, 146-139. The Sixers had the unfortunate position of being the second highest scoring team in the league this period 31, and they still lost their game. That happens every once in a while, guys. You know how it goes. In fantasy football, it's a pretty common thing. But wow. So the Saints basically moved to 21-10, and the Sixers are now 22-9. I think the Sixers are in the conference championship already, but they might be meeting the Saints. And this was a great little preview of what might be the conference championship series between the Saints and the Sixers. Should be a lot of fun. On a side note, right now, I just want to mention the play-in tournament. So my pop filter just fell. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to refix it here. All right. Hold on a sec here. All right. Got the pop filter in place. Okay, cool. So anyways, the play-in tournament is not meant to be like a reward. You want to avoid the play-in tournament because it's a one-and-done deal. So if a superior team loses in the play-in tournament, I don't want to hear any crying about it. You know, it is what it is. It's like a wild card game. It's a one and done. That's why it's exciting. You know, you got to be in the top three if you want to get straight to the conference championships, and then you get a best of three series. It is what it is. Look, we got the All-Star game in mid-February. We can't play basketball games during that time, obviously, because they're taking time off. And I give you guys a break because right after the All-Star game, a lot of players are shaking off the cobwebs. So we don't play that, that one period from Monday through Thursday where, not all of your players are going to be playing anyways. That next weekend is when we play the play-in. And again, the cobwebs, that whole thing, I've done fantasy basketball for years, and I know that's what happens. After the All-Star break, there's just something wrong with guys. They just don't play the same. So they're shaking off the cobwebs. They had a whole week off. They've been partying. It's the All-Star game. They're young guys, and they don't always do what you expect them to do, based on their regular season averages. So that's part of the play-in tournament. You want to avoid it. because it's going to be a wild card situation. You never know what's going to happen in the play-in tournament. So avoid it at all costs. You want to be a top 3 team. There's only 12 of us here, and only half of us roughly make the playoffs every year, half. And anybody with 500 or better record, just avoid the play-in tournament if you don't want to be disappointed. You've had a good season. You know you're better than the other 2 teams that are in the play-in with you, but somehow you lose. It is what it is, right? And your consolation for winning that tournament is to go up against the best team in the league. That would be the Warriors. That being said, I want to say something right here about the Warriors. Luka Doncic is an injury risk, and he didn't play all that great this last period, and that's why they lost. The Warriors lost to the Poway Eagles 128 to 118. Now, that's a good performance by the Eagles, but usually the Warriors would win a game like that. They are vulnerable. And I feel like the Nuggets, even though AJ's thinking about doing something crazy right now, I feel like he could win against the Warriors. He could win against Philly. He could win against the Saints or the Copperheads. Look at his score this week, this period. 136 points. That was the 3rd best score. But apparently AJ wants to, build for the future. He does have some cheap contracts there with Victor Wembanyama. And, well, that's the main one he's got. That guy is like a top 5 player at a very cheap price for the next couple of seasons. And that's great. That's how you win in this league. That's why, you want these, you want to hit on your rookies. If you hit on your rookies, you got a good chance of putting together a 2 or 3 year stretch of dominant play, and you could win some titles. But I'm the kind of guy that says if you have a chance to win a championship, you go for it. I'd say, future be damned. If you got a chance to win a trophy, you go for it. You don't throw that aside. And I feel like maybe AJ's being a little risky here, trying to build for the future when I think his future is pretty bright anyways. And he's just going to, maybe throw out his championship aspirations this year, kind of hand it over to one of these other teams like Philadelphia, San Francisco, the Warriors, Phil's team. Philadelphia is Jeff Just's team. And hats off to Jeff Just, by the way. He's done a great job. He's been in the league since the beginning, like 3 years ago. And his team was terrible for like 2-3 years. Last year, he was terrible. And he has built himself into a winner. He did lose to me this week, but heck, I scored 146 points. I outscored the league, and that was unusual. This might be my best performance of the season. Very unfortunate for him because he would expect to win with 139 points. But at the same time, Philly is pretty much a shoo-in to go to the conference championship. But we'll see. There's 2 more games left, so who knows what's going to happen there. But looking at the clock now, we're 3 minutes away from transactions, and I'm going to go over those when they come up. We're going to keep this video going because I want to see what happens there and see what the Nuggets did. The Copperheads also cleared up like $50-60 million in cap space. I think they want to maybe challenge the Nuggets for Jason Tatum. We'll see what happens there. That's going to be interesting. So the play-in tournament begins in like 2 weeks from now, and it's looking very much like it's going to be definitely the Eagles. They're 17-14, so he's clinched already. Randy, my brother, he's in, and he just got Austin Reeves back. So the Eagles are, dangerous enough. Denny Avia has not been playing lately, and he'll probably be back by then. That's a team that can win. They can definitely throw their hat in the ring and be like, you got a 1 weekend series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday game. Some players are going to only be playing 1 game. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's a wild card type series. And I can say that I don't really know who's going to win that thing. And the winner of it goes up against the Warriors. And that's going to be a tough series, but the Warriors, again, with Luka Doncic, he's injury prone. He's injured right now. He didn't play this last period because he struggled, and the Warriors got beat by the Eagles. Let's have a look at that one really quick here. Let's look for the Warriors. Hold on one sec here. There they are. So Luka Doncic, 0.358 fantasy points per minute. He only played 22 minutes. What's that about? He played 2 games. He did not make the box score. Very interesting there. If the Warriors don't have Luka Doncic, it's going to be trouble. We're 1 minute away from transactions. This was the whole point of this video. I just wanted to do transactions and talk a little bit about what the Nuggets are going to do here, because this is interesting. AJ Nardi's going to do something crazy right now. I think he's going to sign Jason Tatum, and we're going to find out in just a second here. Is 259. I'm going to take a little sip of my coffee here. That's my alarm for the draft. All right. It's 3 o'clock. Let's go over to the league site. It usually takes like about a half a minute before they do the transactions. They finalize them. So let's see here. We're going to refresh. All right, so here's the transactions right now. I'm seeing Brian Williams. Who's this? Hold on, guys. Yeah, Brandon Williams signs with the Warriors. This is also the day when you can't waive players anymore. You got the rest of the day to do that and free up salaries, cap space, and then it's over for the season. So Brandon Williams signs with the Warriors, $2.27 million. They let go of Will Richard. Here's a guy who makes minimum contract. All right, there's the Nuggets. Yep, Jason Tatum, they signed him all right. So here's the deal. They freed up a bunch of cap space. Let's have a look at their roster now. Let's go over here to the Nuggets. He signs Jason Tatum. Wonderful, right? Now he has spent $274 million. He's going to have to free up a bunch of cap space. So I'm going to reset his cap now. Everybody gets their cap reset right now. Hold on. I'm also going to check because I know that the Copperheads also freed up some cap space. Let's see what they did. Saints, we signed Krejci and waived Gary Payton, by the way. Daniel Gafford got picked up by the Heat-Checks. Look at that. That's interesting. Nice. Checking Heat-Checks, also grabbing Santos and getting rid of Newell. Interesting. A lot of moves going on right there. Yeah, nothing else happened. The Copperheads, they didn't do anything. So I'm going to go in here and show you guys what I do now. Team administration. I'm going to reset everybody's cap now. We got Denver, moved their cap up to 276. He's back to 221. And then we'll go to the Copperheads. I think Mark just wanted to give AJ a little scare there by upping his cap by $60 million going into this thing. So let's go back to rosters now, and we'll check out Denver. Now you can see that Denver is over the cap by $53.8 million. So they got to clear out that space. Where are they going to do it? You got Jaylen Brown there, but even just waiving him wouldn't be enough. 58 point. He's still short by a couple $100,000. Tatum, let's see here. Domantas Sabonis, 42.3. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. How is Denver going to free up this money that they owe? They owe $53.8 million right now for picking up Tatum. They have to let go of somebody like basically Domas. They have to let go of him or Jaylen Brown. That would be ridiculous. If Jaylen Brown becomes a free agent this offseason, it's going to be huge. He probably makes like $56 million next year too. But very interesting. I'm not really sure what's going on here. It'll be interesting to see how AJ plays this out. Also, you got to look at the roster size. AJ's roster is sitting at 16 players. Okay, so he can knock down to 12. So he's got four spots. He can clear out that cap space with four waivers if needed. So let's say he goes with Domas at $42.3 million. And look, Domas out again. I think they're going to shut him down. I would say that Domas is done. So 42.3. He still needs about 11 million though. About 11 million more dollars to free up here. And where's that going to come from? You got to ask yourself, where does that come from? Definitely not Ace Bailey. It's possible that he really is going to tank this year. So it's possible that Denver is just going to take their hat out of the ring. I thought they had a chance to win a championship. Now with Domas out, that would be tough. But they're still a good team, even with him out. But apparently AJ just doesn't believe in Domas, and it looks like he's just going to tank this season and be done with it. So there you have it, guys. Big move today by the Nuggets. It looks like they are bowing out of the race. I mean, they could still win it. They got Shai Gilgeous. He is injured, by the way. Shai has a abdomen injury, and he's out until the 20th. So if the Denver Nuggets AJ's team makes the play-in tournament, so let's say they just back right on out of the semifinals and go to the play-in, it's going to be kind of hard to beat the Copperheads with Joker without Shai Gilgeous Alexander. So, wow. This would be interesting. Shai Gilgeous is going to sit out for quite a while here. They say he's not going to be back for 12 days. And February the 20th coincides with the play-in tournament. So the Nuggets, what a turn of events. I mean, talk about a team that has been star-crossed with injuries. Big time. So this season is really shaping up to be kind of interesting. I mean, I really thought Denver was going to be a threat to win the championship. But now when you look at the standings, you see that the Nuggets, if they bow out, now teams like the Saints, San Diego, Carolina, and Philly have a chance to advance to the championship round and make their play. I think maybe the Saints overtake the Nuggets perhaps and get to the conference championship against the Sixers, and maybe the Copperheads end up playing the Warriors, and then we're looking at a pretty good championship series between the Warriors most likely or the Copperheads. Remember, you can't write off Joker. And either Philly or San Diego. I mean, Denver seems to be bowing out of this thing. I don't think the Eagles, even though I think they can win the play-in tournament, the chances of them going to the finals against the Warriors are pretty slim in my opinion. But because of Luka Doncic's injury history and sometimes he struggles, maybe the Warriors are vulnerable in the championship series. This will be interesting. And the Saints showed this week with their big score that they can actually compete with the big boys. And as long as the Saints my team has Josh Giddey, Zion Williamson, and Kawhi Leonard healthy, we have a chance. All right, guys, I'm going to make more videos like this as we wind down the season. 2 more regular season games to go, and then we get the All-Star break, and then it's the play-in starting on the 20th of February. And after that, it's the semifinals. We'll be wrapped up by mid-March. Should be a lot of fun, guys. I'll talk to you all later.